Today I'm replacing the rear shock absorbers on my 2012 Toyota RAV4. First thing I did was set the e-brake, jack up the vehicle so I can remove the left rear wheel. You're going to need two jacks or a jack stand and a jack because you need to put a jack under the trailing arm so that you're not fighting against the coil spring. So I've got my jack stand. What I did was set my jack up under the suspension. You can't really jack here because it'll just fold out. You should see these two little notches here. That's normally where you would jack, but because I need to put my jacks down there, I safely jack here without messing with any of the hoses underneath my vehicle. Next, I sprayed down the two bolts that hold my shock absorber in place with some PB penetrating blaster. We don't live in a very rusty area, but I don't really like to spend my day fighting rusty bolts. Next, I'm going to set my jack underneath the trailing arm and jack it up just enough so that you can see it sort of release the tension off that coil spring so you're not fighting yourself to get the strut, shock out of place. Before I take the old shock out, I get the new one and compare, make sure everything is looking good, like I've got the right parts. This bottom piece will twist so that you can line it up with the holes that you need. Also pay attention to how your bolts go in. This nut is on the outside, the bolt goes on the inside. I don't think you could do this one backwards because there's not room for you to pull the bolt out on the left, but I always try to pay attention. See how the nut is facing the front of the vehicle, the bolt will come out the back. I try to put everything back the way that it came out so I don't run into any issues. According to my Chilton manual, they want us to take the upper shock bolt out first and then the lower one, so that's how we will proceed. The jack must remain under the trailing arm during the entire position. You don't really want to mess around with springs too much. Be safe. My upper bolt is a pretty tight fit. If you can get a socket or ratchet in there with an extension or something, more power to you. I'm going to use some ratchets. It's a 17 millimeter, so I do have this ratcheting 17 millimeter one that I'm going to try and use on the backside once I break the nut loose. You'll want to use two so that one side isn't just sitting there spinning while you're working away. So I've got this guy loose. I'm going to try and get my ratcheting one on the other side and see if there's room to spin it out. Spinning the bolt, how the other side turns too. That's why you need a wrench on each end to counteract. Once you've got it loose enough, you should be able to spin the nut off with your fingers. There we go. There goes my wrench, but I think my nut too. You might want to, oh there we go, perfect. You might have to play around with the jack and the tension on the spring so that you're not fighting yourself with the strut tension, but voila, I've got the upper bolt and nut out. Now we can go to the bottom one. With the bottom bolt, there's enough room for me to get a socket and an air gun in. I've got my 17 millimeter wrench on this side counter holding, and then a gun on the socket. And be helpful if I had a camera person, so use your imagination. Alright, so I got the lower shock absorber not loose, but the way that this bolt is installed facing forward, there is enough room for me to pull the bolt out and remove the shock. Not sure why Toyota designed it this way, but there is a bracket I need to remove. This bracket so that I can remove the shock too. Alright, so this entire piece of metal is the lower shock absorber bracket. I've already removed one, but there's two 17 millimeter bolts holding it in place. Then you can get your shock out of the way. Be careful not to drop anything on your head. silly, but it might actually make it easier going back together so you're not fighting the spring or the tension of the shock absorber. So I'm going to line it up with the new one. So we've got the new shock absorber installed into the lower bracket. Everything is loose. I just start the nut barely. You don't want to tighten anything until you have everything in place. Otherwise you'll sit there fighting yourself all day. Next I get the upper shock absorber bolt in place. I don't even have a nut on it. I just have it in place. Make sure that the shock absorber is going behind that, in front of this, coming out the same way that it went in. Then I come to here and start these two 17mm bolts. Alright, so I've got these two shock absorber bracket bolts started by hand. Notice I didn't just take a gun and try and zip it in with an impact gun. I'm not a big fan of cross-threading stuff. It just makes more work for you. Everything is started. I'm going to zip these up tight, then tighten the lower bolt, put a nut on the top and tighten the upper bolt, and then should be ready to put the wheel back on. Make sure you give yourself enough room to get this nut back in place. I had the bolt shoved all the way through, so I had to slide it back a few threads, but luckily nothing is fighting me today, knock on wood. Then I'll get both my wrenches in here and tighten this back up, put the wheel back on, and check my work. Alright, so I've got everything back in place and tightened down, ready to let the jack out from under the trailing arm. The wheel back in place. Let's see, let this guy down. Lets the tension off. Getting ourselves a little time. Alright, so once I get the wheel back on, I torque him to 80 foot-pounds with my torque wrench. Always do this in a star pattern, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, instead of in a circle, so that you're not allowing the wheel to cock. I go for a test drive, then I torque it a second time. You can never be too safe, and then I'm gonna flip to the other side into the other shock, and that's how it's done.